Welcome back to the channel. My name is Thomas Fletcher, and I'm the host of both the LCSW Network and the Military Social Work Network. If you're new to both of my channels, please do me a favor by smashing that like button, by subscribing to the channel, and by sharing this video with your social work colleagues and friends. The purpose of both of these channels is to create a community of hope and support, where social workers can come, relevant news, information, and inspiration. So we are continuing our Ask a Military Social Work series on what does a military social worker in the reserve component of the U.S. Army actually do, right? So last week we covered one role, which is teaching classes and supervising those classes that either we are teaching or our behavioral health techs are teaching during inactive duty training or drill weekend or battle assembly weekends, right? We covered that last week. And this week we're going to be talking about another potential role that you can play as a 73 Alpha, as a social worker in the reserve component of the U.S. Army. And that is the role of the UPL or UDL. And what do those acronyms stand for? UPL, Unit Prevention Leader. I think the newer term is Unit Deterrence Leader. I like the other term, Unit Prevention Leader, so I'm going to stick with that. UPL, Unit Prevention Leader. So what is a Unit Prevention Leader? A Unit Prevention Leader is the OIC, officer in charge of the commander's program, which is to ensure the health and well-being of the service members. Specifically, that the service members in the unit are not abusing or misusing either prescription drugs or illegal street drugs, right? So, in the common parlance, actually I won't use the common parlance, but those of you that are in, you know what I'm talking about. You may come in during a drill weekend, and your name may be called to provide a random urine sample. That's what I'm talking about. So, as a social worker, as a 73 Alpha in the reserve component of the U.S. Army, you may be asked or you may be voluntold by your commander that you're going to be the OIC or one of the OICs to be the unit prevention leader, right? And it's a legit role that you could expect to play as a military social worker, as a uniformed military social worker in the reserve component of the U.S. Army. And it entails a lot. So I'm talking about it because it's something that I'm doing right now. It's one of the roles that I'm playing right now within my U.S. Army Reserve role unit. So let me tell you a little bit about the role. After you get selected by your commander, you will get sent to training. You'll be put on orders for 1 week. I happen to be sent to training in Utah, but you could be sent anywhere, I guess. And it's about three and a half days training. The total time you're on orders is 5 days, because 1.5 days for travel, right? And you're gonna get all of the instruction, PowerPoint, some hands-on training in terms of implementing the program. And then once you finish the training, you get sent home with what's called the Smart Book, which is, again, the instructions that you're going to use to carry out the program. And then when you get back to your unit, your commander is going to expect you to start implementing the program, right? With the expectation that 100% of the service members that are that are in the unit roster are going to get tested within that fiscal year, right? So it's an important program because it gives the commander an idea of, do I have any troops, do I have any service members on my roster that are struggling with substance use disorders? It's going to give him or her an idea of if there are any service members that are using substances they're not supposed to be using, or maybe misusing substances that they have a prescription. So you can be on prescription medications, for certain medical conditions, obviously, so if your doctor has put you on, a prescription and you test positive for that prescription medication, as long as you're taking it the way your doctor has prescribed you to take it, you won't be in any trouble. But obviously, if you test positive for a prescription medication that your doctor has not given you, you're gonna have some explaining to do to your commander, to the medical officers in your chain of command, and it could be you could be writing yourself a one-way ticket out of the service if you don't have a good explanation, right? So again, as a military social worker, you could be tapped by your chain of command to be an OIC or to be a unit prevention leader, right? So I'm going to stop right there, but we will continue this series. In future episodes, I will be talking about other roles that you could expect to perform as a uniformed military social worker in the reserve component of the U.S. Army. And again, if you're new to the series, I have served as a uniformed military social worker in the reserve component of the U.S. Army for over 13 years, both in the Army National Guard and currently in the U.S. Army Reserves. So I'm not just speaking from books, I'm actually speaking from my own personal experience, right? So I hope that helps. I want to thank you all for watching this video. For all the social workers and other licensed mental health professionals, thank you for the work that you do every day for your clients, for your agencies, and for the profession. Please continue to support each other and yourselves. Bye for now.